Barcelona were clearly robbed of this goal, and if you don't understand why that's the case, then you need to go back into the handbook and study the rules. It was clear as day that Barcelona should have been awarded this goal, despite the fact that yes, Ferran Torres is standing in an offside position. This is the handbook directly from Laws of the Game. If you scroll down to Law 11, on the offside offense second section, you scroll a bit down, you find the rule that says the following. A player in an offside position receiving the ball from an opponent who deliberately played the ball, including by deliberate handball, is not considered to have gained an advantage. Then they clarify what they mean by deliberate play. According to the Laws of the Game, on point 3, clearing the ball, example by kicking or heading it, is considered deliberate play. Hence, Ferran Torres should have not been called offside. Despite the fact that he is standing in an offside position, the defender makes a deliberate attempt to clear the ball. That attempt and then deflects the ball to Ferran Torres, who taps it in. Barcelona were clearly robbed of this match, and it surprises me so much that this decision came from someone like Clement Turpin, a referee who is literally labeled as the best referee in the world. What? Shouldn't the best referee in the world at least know the handbook? It makes no sense to me. I'll say it again and again and again. Barcelona only lost this match because they got robbed. Barcelona did not go out today because they were the worst team out of the two. Everybody knows that Barcelona are far better than Atletico de Madrid, and were across both legs the far better team. Across both legs, Barcelona played with 10 men, and yet was the far better team than Atletico de Madrid. The only reason that Barcelona got knocked out was because of the refereeing decisions, and I think everybody knows that. Like, at some point, I understand that Madrid fans are going to be here in the comments laughing. That's all fine. Come and do it. That still does not deny the fact that Barcelona were only sent home because of refereeing decisions. Take a look at these statistics, for example. This referee, Clement, is allegedly labeled as the best referee in the world. But does the best referee in the world give one team 2 yellow cards for 8 fouls, but another team 0 yellow cards for 15 fouls? That genuinely makes no sense. Oh, and obviously add the red card to that. Like, it is so clear that Barcelona, across both legs, were robbed. That's just the facts. They were robbed again and again and again. It starts off with a couple fouls not given on your favor, to a couple yellow cards given to you when it wasn't even worthy of a yellow card, to yellow cards not being given to your opponent. I call it psychological robbery. Call so much against your favor that you eventually start to ease away from the match. Maybe it's possible that the referee's intention wasn't necessarily that, but it doesn't eliminate the fact that they still got robbed. And on the controversial calls, I'll make a separate video about it. But it is clear as day that today, Barcelona did not lose because they were the worst team. They got eliminated because of refereeing decisions. I'm telling you right now, Lamine Yamal needs to play alongside world-class players to win Champions Leagues at Barcelona. And I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. If Barcelona do not buy world-class players in the summer, we risk losing Lamine Yamal on the long term. Because this brother deserves to win at least 5 Champions Leagues. He deserves more than even some Madrid players, bro. But if we don't act now, then Lamine Yamal is going to leave. Because look, from the get-go, Lamine Yamal, an 18-year-old, took this Barcelona side on his shoulders and led them and scored that first goal. He pretty much created that goal by himself. Then the second goal came from Ferran Torres, a beautiful play from Barcelona. Ferran Torres, 10 out of 10 today, not complaining. But now here's the issue. Barcelona works so hard to complete that remontada. Lamine Yamal does everything possible to leave the players on a 1v1 situation. And today, once again, leaving Fermin Lopez on a 1v1 against the goalkeeper, when they could have completed the remontada, he missed it. And this isn't necessarily to attack Fermin Lopez, no. Or Ferran Torres, or Ronald Araujo for the one that he missed as well. No, I'm not trying to attack anybody personally. I'm simply trying to say that Lamine Yamal needs to be paired up with world-class players. Because as soon as we bring world-class players into this team, is when Barcelona will start winning Champions Leagues. Let's be honest, as good as Ferran Torres was today, he's not world-class. As good as our defenders have been this season, they're not world-class. As long as we keep putting ourselves in these situations, we will never win a Champions League. Which necessarily follows that Lamine Yamal will never win a Champions League. But that's just unbelievable. This brother deserves 5 Champions Leagues. So again, final message. Barcelona better do some spending in the summer. Because next season, we cannot let this one escape. I'm a Barcelona fan, and I do think that this was a red card. I'll admit that, I'll be honest. I'm not going to necessarily try and dispute whether this was a red card. What I am going to try and dispute, however, is the referee's lack of awareness of the events that happened prior to this play and to many other plays. For example, let's take it a step back. Ferran Torres scores his second goal of the match and equalizes the game on aggregate 3-3. The goal is then ruled as offside, despite the fact that the defender makes a deliberate attempt to clear the ball, which then and rebounds to Ferran Torres, not offside. The referee decided to give offside, but now here's the thing. If you think that Ferran Torres was offside, okay, fair. But what about the handball from Clement Lenglet? The moment that Gavi shoots the ball, Clement Lenglet literally stops it with his hand, and then that leads to the goal of Ferran Torres, which was then ruled off. Why was there so much lack of awareness in this situation? Why focus so much on whether Ferran was offside, but not even focus on the fact that Clement Lenglet handballs that ball? Same in this situation. Why focus so much on whether there's an offside, but not on whether there was a foul committed on Pedri that led up to this situation? Once again, complete lack of awareness from the referees. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy to do a referee's job. You have to look at so many things, you have the pressure on you, you have to hurry up. A lot of things can happen. But it's just incredible to me that they're committing so many mistakes at the biggest stage against Barcelona season after season after season. At this point, we're not even tired of it anymore. We're completely used to it. Everybody always has something negative to say about Lamine Yamal, from what he says on the press conference, from what he posts on his own IG personal story. But what about now? Not only did Lamine Yamal single-handedly almost carry Barcelona to the Champions League semifinal, scoring the first goal, creating it for himself, but even after being knocked out of the Champions League, rather than expressing frustration toward his teammates, he instead supports them, goes around the field clapping the hands of each and every single one of his teammates, and at times you even saw him go up to Ronald Araujo, who clearly seemed in distress, and also showed him that support as a teammate. Like, we really have to think about this for a second. Lamine Yamal is still 18 years of age. For him to have this attitude is extraordinary, and even if people don't want to admit it, his biggest haters are terrified to see Lamine Yamal like this. Because the way that they want to see him is sad, frustrated, upset at his teammates, but instead we see Lamine Yamal who was uplifting his teammates, who seemed like confident in his team. Like, the sensation that I got from him was a sensation of, okay, we got knocked out, no big problem, let's keep on working on the next thing, let's win La Liga, and the next season we'll come back and win the Champions League. Like, that is honestly the sensation that this gives me. And again, it's more frightening for his opponents because he's still 18 years of age. I understand people may mock him right now, they're gonna laugh at Barcelona, sure, but we know that you guys are all terrified of what's gonna come in the future. Lamine Yamal is a Barcelona player. He's not going to leave this club as much as you guys want him to, and he's gonna end up winning at least 5 Champions Leagues with Barcelona. Mark my word. I love Pedri. I think that he's the best midfielder in the world. I'm extremely happy that he's at Barcelona. But on this situation, I have to be honest and criticize Pedri for the mistake that he made that led up to the goal of Atletico de Madrid. You can clearly see how Pedri completely loses his mark, who is Llorente, who then receives a beautiful ball from Griezmann into space, who then just has to squares it for Ademola Lookman to get the goal for Atletico de Madrid. The play starts here. Molina, the right back of Atletico de Madrid, is receiving the ball with time and space. As he's carrying that ball, he realizes that Llorente is making an overlap run and that Antoine Griezmann is checking in into space. It is so evident to even an amateur football player what Atletico de Madrid are doing here. Antoine Griezmann is checking in, pulling off the defender, leaving space behind, and Llorente is simply making an overlap run into that space. Pedri should also recognize this and follow Llorente, but instead he doesn't. Ball gets played onto Griezmann, and then he plays that ball into space, and Pedri is nowhere to be seen. And now, of course, this isn't only Pedri to blame. You can point the finger at so many things. If Barcelona are going to push up a high line, then Joao Cancelo needed to have been pressing Molina from before he even received the ball, so that he didn't even have time to think about this. You can also come at Gavi for not pressing Antoine Griezmann too quickly, and so many other things. But Pedri is certainly one of the players that has to be judged in this situation. He needs to follow his man, and if he does that, then Llorente, you could say, doesn't get that much time to think about what to do with the ball. It's a clear mistake. With Hansi Flick being the manager at Barcelona for 2 seasons now, you would expect the team to at least have understood this, which is why it's unacceptable even from Pedri. Stop believing this propaganda that Barcelona had an easy route. It is clear as day that that's not the case. Like, it really surprises me that people look at Atletico de Madrid with Ademola Lookman, with Antoine Griezmann, with Sorloth, with Julian Alvarez, with Musso, with so many other players, and they don't think that this team is at least top 10 clubs in all of Europe. They're not an easy team to beat at all. I tell you this as a Barca fan, I would have much rather played Manchester City or Liverpool or Sporting or Arsenal before playing Atletico de Madrid. It's for no reason that they beat Real Madrid 5-2 at the start of the season, then beat Barcelona 4-0 in the Copa del Rey, knocked out Barcelona of the Copa del Rey and of the Champions League, and yet some people still have the audacity to try and sell this propaganda that Barcelona had an easy route. I don't think so. Were Barcelona the better team across both legs? Yes, they were. Why did they lose? I've already addressed this, the refereeing decisions. But make no mistake about that, Atletico de Madrid remain a top team in the Champions League and all of Europe. As a matter of fact, I right now place them as favorites to reaching the final on top of Arsenal. I'm telling you, don't be surprised if they reach the final and even win it. Drop a follow and let me know what you think.